We're going to begin with the COVID hotspots in New York City. Hello, everyone. I'm David Usher.
And I'm Natalie Pasquarello. We hate to tell you this, but the numbers in the city still heading in the wrong direction. The infection rate in these hotspot zip codes spiked overnight. So now it stands at 6.5%. That's up a full percentage point from yesterday. And that's not all. New York State reported more than 1,300 new cases yesterday. That's the most since May. The number of people in the hospital also ticked up again to levels that we haven't seen since July, David.
So what do we do from here? Today, Governor Cuomo doubled down on his push to enforce the state's mask mandate. He says it's simple. If you're not wearing a mask, there should be a fine. We do have live team coverage at 4 o'clock. Let's begin with News 4's Rana Novini, who's in the East Village. Rana?
Yeah, and David, we are here in the East Village as parents were able to pick up their middle schoolers from this school, something they haven't been able to do for months. And now these families are just hoping that the infection rate stays low so their students can stay in the classroom. 6 feet apart, masks on, and temperature checks at the door. Those are the new protocols as middle and high schoolers enter the classroom for the first time since March.
I liked it. I felt like it's easier in school.
Thompson Square middle schooler Aubrey Ramos says the first day back with teachers and classmates beat virtual learning.
It was fun, and we got to do like a lot of activities that we get to experience differently.
We did it, New York City, and everyone should be proud of this moment. This is an example of what makes New York City great.
The mayor commending the 1,600 schools that reopened today. Now, talk of testing. Schools will be asking parents to sign consent forms to allow their kids to get a monthly randomized coronavirus test in school.
This is going to allow us to keep a constant eye on what's happening in each school and make sure we can keep everyone safe.
So now that the schools are open, we move into the phase of monitoring everything, complete transparency.
The president of the teachers union says he's concerned about schools and zip codes where there have been a recent uptick in cases. For the first time this school year, an elementary school in Queens is beginning a 14-day quarantine period because of a potential outbreak. Still, parents we talked to say they're optimistic that their school and their student will stay safe.
I feel good. I feel confident. I feel like he understands to social distance, so we'll be good.
And still many families are choosing to do the virtual only option. The teachers union saying today that more than 50% of high schoolers are doing remote learning only for now. Reporting live in the East Village, Rana Novini, News 4 New York.
Rana, thank you. And at the same time, there is concern about growing COVID clusters. News 4's Miles Miller continues our team coverage. He's in the Midwood section of Brooklyn. Miles?
Well, as the governor is pushing for fines and enforcement, the mayor says the best way to get out of this COVID cluster is to increase testing throughout all of these 10 neighborhoods where we're seeing upticks in the positivity rate. In Borough Park, one of the city's 10 neighborhoods seeing an uptick in the positivity rate, a mask giveaway.
Well, we definitely do not want to see anything like March and April ever again. This community was hit hard, and we want everybody to be healthy.
And in Midwood, transit workers say the education period is over. People who ride buses and trains should be fined if they don't wear a mask.
And we got to make sure that the transit authority is also enforcing it. They have a lot of people, Eagle Squad, state police, they need to be in the hot spots.
The debate over education versus enforcement stretching from City Hall to Albany, with 20 zip codes in the state seeing an increase, including ones here in the 5 boroughs and in Orange and Rockland County. The governor says the education period is over.
The public has been educated about masks. If they're not wearing masks, there should be fines. There should be enforcement.
The mayor doesn't see it that way. He announced today Fresh Meadows and Hillcrest, Queens have both passed the 3% threshold in the positivity rate. His plan to slow the spike?
We are seeing, thankfully, overwhelmingly, growth in compliance. We're seeing more and more mask usage. We're seeing more and more adherence to the rules, but still not enough, so we have to keep pushing further.
Across the state, the daily positivity rate in 20 zip codes of concern that include Rockland and Orange counties is up 6.5% from 5.5% yesterday.
These 20 hotspot zip codes require full attention and effectiveness and action.
The mayor believes the path forward, that is slowing the spread of the virus, is by giving out masks and increasing testing.
Anytime we've seen an issue, we go at it, attack it, address it, and turn it around. But it all keys in on the need for people to get tested.
Today, the state rolled out an app that will alert you when you come in close contact with someone who's tested positive for coronavirus. It's called COVID Alert New York, and it uses Bluetooth technology to tell you if you're within 6 feet of a person who may be infected. The governor's message to these local leaders is pretty simple. A cluster today is community spread tomorrow. Live in Midwood, Brooklyn, I'm Miles Miller, News 4 New York.
Miles, thank you for that update in New Jersey. There's also an uptick in COVID cases, most of them in Ocean County. Governor Murphy planning to visit there tomorrow to talk with local leaders. Today, Chopper 4 flew over long lines at a testing center in Lakewood, and the mayor there says this is just the start of a testing blitz on the way. News 4's Brian Thompson covering this. He's live in Toms River. Brian.
Yeah, Dave, and it was that 27% positivity rate reported yesterday for the previous day that has set off alarm bells here in Ocean County and in the state capital in Trenton. And that is bringing Governor Murphy to Ocean County on Friday. New Jersey about to put a full-court press on one of the biggest cities in the state to get a COVID-19 outbreak under control. Cases soaring in Lakewood's Orthodox community linked to social interaction in recent weeks.
I go outside and I'm seeing that, there was less mask wearing and now there's a little bit more. It's starting to pick up again. People are starting to take it seriously because they're seeing.
Certainly, the line of people waiting to get tested this morning shows many are taking it seriously. Shuls and synagogues have posted signs like these in recent days as well. The county health officer telling me.
Yes, we're getting very good cooperation. We've been working very closely with both the medical community and the religious community.
These sukkahs, portable huts celebrating the Jewish journey from slavery to freedom as they fled Egypt, mark an upcoming 8-day celebration of Sukkot, says Mayor Ray Coles.
Holiday period that would normally have thousands of people going around town visiting friends and relatives is going to be a lot more subdued.
Avi Hershko celebrated bris with his newborn son a few days ago. No mask because it was almost all immediate family. Empty tables show nearly 100 guests were disinvited as the seriousness of the pandemic started to hit home. As for the upcoming 8-day holiday of Sukkot,
this year a lot of celebrations were canceled. I mean, not even a handful. A lot, it's canceled, like legitimately canceled. Dancing, celebration, it's not happening this year.
So we're expecting 3 mobile vans provided by the state to be down here sometime next week to help provide more testing. The governor saying on Bloomberg TV this morning he wants to be very aggressive about this. The slightly good news for Ocean County, the numbers came in today and they were nowhere near the hundreds that were reported yesterday. It was about 75 or so. However, nearly half of that was indeed from Lakewood. Live in Toms River, Brian Thompson, News 4 New York.
Now, Brian, thank you. And rounding out the status check of the tri-state, we are now monitoring Governor Lamont in Connecticut, who's also reporting an uptick. The rate of positive tests has increased more over the last several weeks. In just the last 2 days, it's climbed close to 1.8%, and that's a level Connecticut hasn't seen since June. The number of the people in the hospital also at the highest level since June. So we'll keep listening to the governor, and we'll bring you any important information as we get it.